Hey everyone, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm William.
And I'm Brian.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, and today we are venturing to Gehenna.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shout out to
Welcome, adventurers, to the Dungeoncast.
Hey Brian,
Hey, Will.
how you doing today?
I'm good.
It's hot. It's hot.
It's finally
fucking
hot here
hot.
in SoCal. Yes. We're thanks to the wonderful people that support the show, we were able to make some changes coming very soon to our
but not now.
Not today.
Now it's hot.
Today, we've had a contractor come. We're going to set up an official studio space, and it's going to keep us cool while we record, ish. And it's going to sound a lot better in here from a professional standpoint. And it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you very much. But before we get into anything specific, we have somebody to thank and shout out. Do you have the details, William? On
Yes,
everything?
I do. RPG Foundry, which is a RPG flavored t-shirt shop on Amazon, has sent us these awesome shirts.
Look at my shirt.
Never
It's
split the
awesome.
party. You even have to bathe together. I'm going to stand up in case you can't see this.
Never split them.
Never split. Never split.
Yeah.
Thank you, RPG Foundry. We love the shirts. And if you guys like the shirts too, link will be in the description. Again, they sell their shirts on Amazon, and the company name is RPG Foundry.
What do you think about the shirt's fit and feel? Because I like it a lot.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
fitting my body
it's a
in a
little
way.
form-fitting.
Yeah, I feel comfortable in it. And the
Inspiring me to lose a few more LBs.
the art is I think it's actually very slimming because of the black in the background. But
Agreed.
the art sits in a way on the shirt that makes me appreciate it.
Indeed.
You know, it's
I
not
like it.
it's not blocky. It looks very, I like it. The colors are vibrant.
The colors are vibrant, and I like the art style.
And the art style,
it's a good-looking shirt.
is magical and
I'd wear
fantasy.
this shirt to the brewery.
I would wear the shirt in the tub if it was appropriate to kind of imitate what's going on in the art. But yeah, don't split the party is good advice. So thank you very much to RPG Foundry for providing these shirts for us, which we will wear for the duration of the episode.
Indeed.
And they don't require concentration checks because they're shirts and not spells.
Indeed. Are you ready to get into it today?
I'm ready to get deep into Gehenna.
So it's very
Gehenna?
fitting how hot it is today, because the place we're going to is also blisteringly hot.
It's not as hot as you, William.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There is more to the lower planes of the cosmos than just the abyss and the nine hells. In fact, there are 5 entire other planes of existence down there, each thoroughly evil in alignment, connected by the meandering river Styx. Most of them, including the one we are covering today, are inhabited by fiends, and not just devils and demons, but Yugoliths as well. And as it is the year of the fiend here on the Dungeoncast, I felt there was no more of an appropriate time to dive into the bleak eternity of Gehenna than today.
Is this like a little fiend vacation spot for our friends in this
yeah.
year of the friend fiend?
Most definitely.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be in a hot tub like the people on our shirts.
They could be. I mean, it would be full of hot magma, but yeah.
Liquid hot magma.
Gehenna, also known as the Fourfold Furnaces, is an outer plane of existence representing alignments between neutral evil and lawful evil. It is made up of 4 layers: Khalas, Chamada, Mungoth, and Krangath. These 4 layers are infinite in scope, but the gravity on each pulls at a 45-degree angle to the ground, making travelers feel as if they are on the side of a mountain with no base and no peak.
Oh, wow.
It is forever.
So the ground could be flat, but the gravity is what's pulling at an angle.
Exactly. So, like, for intents and purposes, the ground isn't flat.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
An eternal slope or fall, if you will.
Dang. So this is a place for goats.
Yeah, goats thrive here.
Evil goats.
Yeah, those Gehenna goats, man.
Oh, is that a 92-degree angle? Let me walk that.
Anyone losing their footing could tumble for miles or kilometers before finding enough purchase on the slope to halt their fall, which can and does lead to many violent deaths as bones are snapped and flesh is torn by the increasing velocity of mile-long descents racked against the hellish terrain.
Or kilometer-long descents.
Yes, true. To make matters worse, most of the terrain in Gehenna is anywhere from slick and wet to blatant rivers of water or worse, of lava. In fact, most of the heat and light in Gehenna comes from the volcanic activity on the plain. Lava flows, vents, fumaroles, and tar pits are quite common here. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions continuously tear the land apart on the surface layer. On the deeper, hotter layers, unprotected flammable items and creatures tend to catch fire from the glowing ground or superheated gases being ejected.
So it's just a volcano. You're just walking around on a volcano?
Yeah, an eternal volcano.
Okay.
A volcano that never stops.
That might be somebody's jam.
It could be.
It probably
Not
is.
mine.
No.
But it could be.
Okay.
This is not a nice place, is the next line I wrote.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry if you thought it was going to be before we got started. As one would imagine, all structures built here have to be built onto or carved into the slope that is, everything. Everything's a slope. There's no flat ground to build anything on.
I gotcha. Okay. So it's not, the ground is at an angle.
Well, I mean, it is. If the planet you're on is pulling you at a 45-degree angle, then everything is on a slope.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like your perspective will be that you're on a slope, not that like the ground is flat and you're sideways.
Okay. I think I get it.
Okay. Before we get further into the D&D lore of Gehenna, did you know that Gehenna is a real actual place?
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. In real life, Gehenna is an actual valley in Jerusalem and has been used as an analog of hell or lake of fire in Jewish and Christian tradition.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's interesting for sure.
I have a quote here from Britannica.com on the topic of Gehenna. Gehenna, also called Gehinnom, abode of the damned in the afterlife in Jewish and Christian eschatology, thank you. The doctrine of last things. Named in the New Testament in Greek form from the Hebrew Gehinnom, meaning Valley of Hinnom. Gehenna originally was a valley west and south of Jerusalem where children were burned as sacrifices to the Ammonite god Moloch, which is funny. Moloch is the name of a archdevil in the Nine Hells.
Yeah, so they're really drawing the inspiration from this ancient text. Okay.
This practice was carried out by the Israelites during the reigns of King Solomon in the 10th century BC and King Manasseh in the 7th century BC and continued until the Babylonian exile in the 6th century. Gehenna later was made a garbage center to discourage the reintroduction of such sacrifices.
So it just became a waste dump so that people didn't want to go there because it stinks.
According to this, yes.
I mean, that's one way to take care of a problem.
The imagery of the burning of humans supplied the concept of hellfire to Jewish and Christian how'd you say it?
Eschatology.
Eschatology. Mentioned several times in the New Testament as a place in which fire will destroy the wicked. It also is noted in the Talmud, a compendium of Jewish law, lore, and commentary, as a place of purification, after which one is released from further torture.
I see. Okay.
Back
very, very interesting.
To D&D's version of Gehenna.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go back. Roll some dice.
Roll some dice.
I feel fantasy
Swing
right
a
now.
sword. Gehenna is the plane of suspicion and greed. It is the birthplace of the Eugoliths, which dwell here in great numbers. Gehenna has no room for mercy or compassion. The fiends living here are among the greediest and most selfish in all the multiverse.
So that's interesting. So these fiends are born outside of the abyss and the nine hells.
Yeah, they're Eugoliths.
Because that's their whole thing. They are different, so they're from somewhere different. I'm sure we've covered that in the past. Okay.
Yes, in the Eugoliths episode, which was a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of your Eugoliths that aren't like directly involving themselves in the Blood War are either here in Gehenna or in the Grey Wastes of Hades.
Great Waste of Hades. And the River Styx runs through all this stuff, right?
All the lower planes.
Okay,
all the lower planes. So, yeah. There is an awesome optional rule in the Dungeon Master's Guide for when you're on different outer planes.
Okay.
This one is for Gehenna and is called Cruel Hindrance. Excuse me. The plane's cruel nature makes it difficult for visitors to help one another. Whenever a visitor casts a spell with a beneficial effect, including a spell that restores hit points, or removes a condition, the caster must first make a DC 10 charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the spell fails and the spell slot is expended and the action is wasted.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, no, you can't help people here.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah. We're the plane of greed and selfishness, damn it.
We don't do that here.
Altruism is not allowed. The only creatures known to be native to the plane outside of Eugoliths are creatures called Barghests. They are lupine fiends that can take the shape of wolves or goblins as well.
Okay, cool. Very
but
cool.
I think in their normal form, they're wolf-like. They're on four legs. I think they got like a human-like face. They're really ugly. They're really ugly. Okay. And they're quite evil. And also pyroclastic dragons, true dragons with scales of broken obsidian and hot magma. All other creatures that dwell here originally came to Gehenna from the adjacent lower planes, mostly to hide from more powerful beings that wish to enslave them. Gehenna is often a plane of exile for the less powerful archdevils and daemon taskmasters. So people in exile.
I see.
Get sent here a lot.
Okay, this is starting to remind me of the Wyverns episode because we couldn't decide if we want to say Wyvern or Wyvern.
Yeah, so I'm going back
switching
Gehenna
back and
Gehenna.
forth. Yeah.
Yep. I see a G. I want to go G.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. Anyways, even lesser deities tend to avoid Gehenna. Those that lean toward law are recruited into the hierarchy of the Nine Hells, and those that favor chaos tend towards Hades or the Abyss.
Okay.
Any questions before we start diving into the individual layers of Gehenna?
This is generally as a blanket, zoomed out thing is a very interesting looking place. I'm picturing like dry, arid, lots of brown.
I mean, it could be lots of brown. I picture lots of black. So, like, we're going to get into it when we start talking about the layers, but there's very, very little light in any of these places.
Oh, okay.
It's very hard to see.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So it looks like night without stars or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I don't know how familiar you are with the moons of Jupiter, but
somewhat.
I would say that Gehenna would be very, very reminiscent to walking on the surface of the moon Io. Are you familiar with the moon Io?
Super volcano place.
Yeah, super volcano place.
Might be life there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Io has an atmosphere, but if it doesn't, you would look up into the sky and see the black void. Right?
I see. Okay.
So,
sure.
That's how I picture this place.
So a lot of the light comes from like the energy from the magma.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So we will begin with Khalas, also known as the Gentle Lands. This is not an ironic name. The uppermost layer of Gehenna is actually the most livable of the four planes for mortals. This is mostly due to the access to water, with many waterfalls cascading down the slopes of Khalas. That being said, the largest of these bodies of water is the River Styx, which is not recommended that anyone drink from.
Yeah, don't go in there.
Yeah, don't touch it. The Styx follows a rough path down the slope that is the layer, falling for thousands of miles, running through twisty rapids before finally disappearing down into the underground passages.
So it's like a crazy Hawaiian island almost.
Yeah.
They've got like roads that come down from the mountain. You can like stop and get out and look at waterfalls and things
yeah,
like that
sure.
the whole way down.
Yeah, except for it's eternal darkness in the sky.
And there's lupine demons everywhere.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
like not like Hawaii
It's
at
not
all,
like
really.
Hawaii at all. That's hilarious. Marked by abundant volcanic activity, the air of Khalas is saturated with ash and smoke. Close to the ground, the air glows red due to the lava flows reflecting off the smoke. Steam rises from where water and magma on the layer meet and into the infinite and empty black sky, making the horizon glow a dull red. The combination of violent waterfalls, rugged mountainscapes, and glowing magma makes Khalas an eerily beautiful place for a lower plane, much like Hawaii at night. or so Brian would say.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that for now.
Khalas is directly connected to or touched by the astral plane, the gray wastes of Hades, and the nine hells. The portals to these places in Khalas look like black chasms in the floor of deep underground passages. Markings on walls nearby often indicate the portal's destination if you can read them.
I see. Okay. So what, like infernal or no?
Infernal or abyssal? Yeah, not necessarily, but probably one of the evil languages.
Would primordial be like a thing that might be found here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
There are two major locations of note in Khalas. One is the Throne of Blood, realm of Bahal, the widely feared Farunian god of violence and ritualistic murder.
Great.
This realm is mysteriously described as feeling particularly alien. No other details are given in the sources I could find. The second location of note is the Cloudy Path, a bi-directional, always open portal to the quasi-elemental plane of steam.
Okay, so you can get to the plane of steam,
which is between the realm of the plane of water and fire. It's a sub-realm, yeah.
So where the planes rub together, like how water and air make like the blizzard realm or whatever.
Yeah, the freezing, the Frostfell.
The Frostfell.
What a cool name. That's a cool name.
That is a cool name.
Let's take a short rest.
I like Blizzard City too.
Blizzard City.
Shout out to the team of Gorgon. Shout out to the team of Gorgon. Oh yeah. Shout out to the team of Gorgon. Shout out to the team of Gorgon. Oh yeah.
We've returned.
Dude, we have.
Welcome home, everyone.
To Gehenna.
William, what do we? Well, let's live in the world's between the Dungeoncast realm, where we talk about promotional things like supporting us on Patreon, which is extremely helpful. It helps us buy new equipment.
Yeah.
Like chairs, which you all have, like people on YouTube, you've seen the disdain of my chair, what it has done to me. I did look into fixing it. There is a specific way into sitting in it, but we will be making that upgrade right now.
Yep.
As we talked about at the beginning of the episode, we are upgrading our studio space to be much more like livable for the few hours that we spend here recording every few weeks. And this is where I mainly spend my time to edit. And when the weather gets to extremes, in extreme heat, as it does in our part of Southern California, it is a nightmare to sit here and edit. and just kind of sweat through it. So
definitely.
Big thank you to everybody on Patreon and to everybody that watches the show and listens to help us get, we've been scraping together the pennies to get this project going. We're going to insulate and drywall the area that we are currently sitting in.
Yep.
And we are going to apply like some soundproofing stuff as we get to that as well. Another couple things on the docket is we are going to be upgrading our camera, our lighting, and we're going to be renovating our background just a little bit more. It's pretty much there, but we're going to be doing a couple things. I've recently got a new table that we're going to be sitting at for recording, and the one we're currently at is going to be converted to a desk, which I got for free from some dude in Long Beach. Thanks, shout out to him.
Thank you, guy in Long Beach.
And thanks to my friend Gabe at work, who helped me put some wheels on the bottom of it so we can still utilize the space. We can move the table around as we need to play Dungeons and Dragons games out here and stuff like that. We're really doing a lot, and we've been putting in a lot of work to make the space what it needs to be. We've had a lot of different studio spaces as we've moved through the years, just based off of we live here now, or we need to meet here, or this place is quiet. But now I think we're able to kind of make a home out of this spot, and we're willing to put in the resources that you guys have kindly provided to us to make that happen. So thank you guys very much.
Indeed. And also, speaking of Patreon, we have a lot of stuff in the works. We're going to try and make Patreon a much more worthwhile, what's the word I'm looking for? Subscription, if you will. We're planning on having a premiere show that we're going to start recording pretty soon. We're going to have a better merch system. We're trying to give multiple merch items out a year rather than one a year.
Ooh, and we're working on a system where we play Dungeons and Dragons with people
patrons.
on Patreon.
Yes,
if
absolutely.
That's something you're interested in, we are going to have a tier dedicated to that sort of thing. We're still working out the kinks. We're going to try and figure out how to optimize it and make sure that we get everybody that wants to play a game in those tiers,
a chance to play.
To play. Obviously, there's going to be scheduling things. We're going to be a lot of shuffling around.
Yeah.
That's what the issue is. We're going to be working out how to get the rhythm of that going.
Yes.
And to make sure that everybody is appeased and happy. But definitely start checking that out. Those changes are going to start happening. The actual play stuff that's there now is going to start leaking its way out into the public. So if you've been hearing us talk about that for a lot of years now, you're going to have a chance to listen to that without being on Patreon. That being said, it's going to be replaced by new stuff. That it's going to be on a release schedule.
Higher end stuff as well, too.
Also, if you feel like telling us what to do, being our boss, we're going to give you guys some topics to vote on, and we will record Dungeoncast episodes based on what people in Patreon want to say. There's a lot of people in Discord that are like, hey, we want to make suggestions for what you guys should talk about. People on YouTube do the same thing. Yeah. We have a system that we put in place to keep recording episodes, in a certain way that helps us get it done and record it. But we want to throw that out to our patrons to be able to vote on. So we're probably going to start doing that stuff soon. So if that interests you, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thedungeoncast. Lots of cool stuff on the way. Right now, you can get early episodes ad-free. That's not going to change. You also get episode show notes and character sheets from our character builder episodes, things like that. But there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool changes to keep an eye out for. So thanks for your support. And let's get back to the episode.
Back to this horrible, horrible place.
I love horrible places. It's one of my favorite things to talk about on the Dungeoncast.
So next up is Chamada the Molten, the second layer of Gehenna.
A blended drink, a blended hot drink.
Give me that hot molten Chamada.
I'll have one Chamada, please.
I'll have one Chamada, please.
Extra evil cinnamon.
It's better than regular cinnamon, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's way better because you feel nasty when you're doing it. When you're drinking it.
This is the most violently active layer of Gehenna, with lava cascades thousands of miles wide and city-sized volcanoes yawning open on the slopes.
And all the people hyped up on that Chamada. That evil cinnamon really gets your metabolism going. A lot of caffeine in that drink.
The air here is foul with acrid smoke for miles above the surface and can cause blindness to unprotected eyes and has the effect of a stinking cloud spell. We should look that up. Look up the stinking cloud spell.
You got it.
Thank you, sir. On the lungs. So specifically on the lungs, which, what else would a stinking cloud spell affect?
Your sinuses.
Yeah, true.
It could get up in there, and then you could just smell it for days.
Below the ground, the air is said to be fresher, but in actuality stinks of burning flesh and hair. So that's how bad... That's how bad the surface air is. It's worse than burning flesh and hair.
Yeah, if you're driving and listening to this, pull over and use your car's cigarette lighter to burn some of your hair so you can know what we're talking about.
And speaking of which, I couldn't find a cause for the burning flesh and hair. It didn't say. It just says it smells like burning flesh and hair down here. I don't know what's actually burning down.
It's like when fucking Ann's Pretzels or whatever pumps the pretzel smell out into the mall.
Oh god.
Or like Cinnabon, they've got it like hooked up to a fan. Hey man, it's starting to smell kind of normal in here. Can you turn on the hair and flesh burning smell? Can you add more essential oils to the aerator to make it smell like burning hair?
It's all the evil cinnamon production factories.
The evil cinnamon. Okay, so here's what a lot of people don't know about evil cinnamon is you have to dry out some hair and then grind it up, and that's actually what it is.
Oh, okay.
Stinking Cloud is a 3rd level conjuration spell. Its casting time takes 1 action. It's at a range of 90 feet. You can target a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. Let's see. Your components are going to be VSM, a rotten egg, or several skunk cabbage leaves. Is skunk cabbage a thing, or is it they talking about like rotten cabbage?
I think it's a thing, but I don't know.
I'll Google skunk cabbage after this. It's actually cabbages that skunks grow. Just kidding. Duration is concentration up to 1 minute. Classes are going to be bard, sorcerer, and wizard that can cast this. I'm on Roll20 for some reason. Somehow I just clicked that link. Yeah. Anyway, you create a 20-foot radius sphere of yellow, nauseating gas centered upon a point within range. The cloud spreads around corners, and its area is heavily obscured. The cloud lingers in the air for the duration. Each creature that is completely within the cloud at the start of its turn must make a Constitution saving throw against poison, which gets worse as you level up. On a failed save, the resistance is against it, not the actual poison itself. On a failed save, the creature spends its action that turn retching and reeling. Not one or the other, both. Okay. Creatures that don't need to breathe or are immune to poison automatically succeed on the saving throw. A moderate wind, at least 10 miles per hour. I don't know what kilometer count that is. 14? I don't know.
Good guess.
Disperses the cloud after 4 rounds. A strong wind, at least 20 miles per hour. I'm not even going to try. Disperses after 1 round.
Okay. So basically the air here on the surface of Chamada makes it so you have to make a con save or you'll be retching and reeling the entire time.
Yeah, you just show up here, and if you can't get over it, you're going to be having a bad day.
You're going to have a rough day. Oof. All right. So the entire layer is said to glow bright red from the incandescent rock. In the world tree model of the cosmos, it is said that Chamada burns brightly enough for the entire mount to be visible from the first layer of Khalas, despite the enormous distance between the two. I find that interesting.
What is the world tree model of the cosmos? Is that like the
2nd edition or some shit?
Is that like it's drawn
Picture
like a tree?
Yggdrasil, yeah. Picture Yggdrasil, yeah. It wasn't very popular.
I see.
From the point of view of an observer in the first layer, Chamada appears to be a bright red burning moon. Chamada is home. Speaking of moons, here we go on a wild trip you're about to see. Chamada is home to a few major locations, one of which is the flying city of Nimicry. Nimicry appears like a small moon, about 500 feet across, floating casually above Chamada's fiery furnaces.
Okay.
Spires and steeples jet out from its surface, and houses and buildings mar its circular perfection. The whole of the orb is paved and civilized and looks far gentler and more welcoming than anything on the plane has a right to be. The streets throng with happy-seeming people, and plenty of bustle goes on at all hours. It looks actually like an ordinary prime world settlement, except for the fact that it's built on a sphere and it's also very small.
So by people, you mean like humanoid races?
Yep.
Okay, for sure.
But in truth, the whole city is in fact a total sham. It is no city or moon.
It's a space station.
Instead, it is a singular living being, a great mimic that parrots the motions of life to lure bodies to it.
That is awesome. It's just Ego, the living planet.
Yeah, which, despite being in the sky, the city mimic seems to have enough success at attracting prey that it continues its bizarre farce.
All right.
One of the worst things about the city is that a body doesn't have to be eaten by it to become a part of it. If even a drop of blood falls on the streets, the city can produce the form and memory of the person up to that point. In fact, the city often goes out of its way to make sure that some minor mishap befalls each visitor at least once during their stay so it can obtain another memory template. Though it eats most of its visitors, some it lets go so they can tell their friends about the wonder of the floating city.
You get to live.
Yeah,
sorry I ate your mom. Tell your friends.
Right.
Bye.
Chamada is also the home of the Bastion of Hate, realm of the demigod, son of Bane. God, and Bane is the god of tyranny.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. So it's the demigod, son of Bane's realm. Why didn't I get his name? I should have wrote his name in there. But Bane himself is the god of tyranny. And also divine realm of Rictus, which belongs to Manzakorian, the illithid god of secret knowledge.
I am the king of Gotham City. Just kidding.
Finally, Chamada is home to a famous center of Yugolith society, the Tower Arcane. This is a great library inhabited by the Arcanoloths, and within it is contained all the recorded history of the Yugoliths and all records and contracts of their participation in the Blood War.
What's an Arcanoloth again?
The fox demon people.
Ah, yeah, okay.
All right, next up. Mungoth, the burning ice.
This is the third layer.
Mungoth is a land of falling ash and burning snow. The furnaces of this layer are fewer and further apart, allowing ice and snow to build up in the dark places between active areas. And travelers have to brave the never-ending avalanches of wet snow and fiery rock.
Black ice, man. It's scary. You don't want to hit that stuff.
Mungoth is under almost constant snowfall. The snow mixed with the volcanic ash turns acidic and can rapidly damage unprotected living creatures, burning through most ordinary clothing.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
And then your flesh. Upon hitting the ground, the snow and ash mixture turn into thick mud that makes the already precarious slopes extremely slippery. Mudslides and lava flows are common and frequently bury the caves that serve as temporary shelters from the acidic snow.
Interesting.
Major locations in Mungoth. Number 1, Death's Embrace, realm of Velsharoon, demigod of necromancy, the patron of all liches. In appearance, a moldy tomb. Death's Embrace is said to be a repository of all necromantic knowledge.
Now, what is a moldy tomb? Like
a tomb covered in mold?
I get like the walls.
Yeah,
okay.
There's mold everywhere.
Gotcha.
Number 2, Ontland, realm of Loviatar, the evil goddess of agony.
Okay.
And number 3, the Valley of the Outcasts, the hideout of the fire giant wizard Tetsuo, an outcast from Fire Giant Society who is sympathetic towards other outcasts, providing shelter when needed. Tetsuo manages arrangements with several Yugoliths to ensure the location's safety.
Me wake up one day, do magic, other fire giant no like. Me come here, welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
What do fire giants don't do magic like that, right?
I mean,
a fire giant
people
wizard
too. They can, sure. I mean, I don't know if that's why he's outcast. He probably did some horrible things.
Me cast fireball bad.
Like if he was a good person, I don't know anything about Tetsuo, by the way, so don't at me in the comments. But if he was a good person, he would have been exiled to probably a different outer plane. But he had to settle here because he sucks so much, probably.
Okay, I got it.
That's my guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're probably a jerk if you live here because like the cool places are actually not that cool. Like it's a giant moon mimic or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so next up, the final layer, Krangath. Now for the final layer of Gehenna, Krangath, the Dead Furnace. Oh. The fourth layer is devoid of any volcanic activity, even underground. All here is dark and cold. Although the rock comprising the slopes is volcanic in origin, the layer has been extinct for untold millennia. Not only geologically dead, the layer is also devoid of any other signs of life. There's no wind, no source of light, no heat, and no natural sounds. The only pervasive smell is that of brimstone. The only time wind blows on the slopes are when an occasional portal shifts the air. The only sounds heard here are the distant footsteps of visitors. The layer's rare petitioners keep very quiet for fear of being discovered by its residing Lich Lord. Ooh. The only inhabitable locations throughout Krangath are subterranean caves that provide some protection against the intense cold. Since nothing can survive on the surface, the cave systems are violently disputed among the layer's inhabitants. There are only 2 locations of note on Krangath. Number 1, Hopelorn, a city inhabited by liches and other undead spellcasters.
Okay, it's a weird name.
Yeah. Well, it's Lorn of Hope. It's without hope.
Oh, okay. Dictionary stuff. Very cool. That would have helped me there.
And number 2, The Night Below, realm of Shargas, the Night Lord.
That's my latest hip-hop jazz fusion album is The Night Below.
I like it. Yeah. Shargaz is the orcish god of the cold, the dark, and the night, and patron of orcs that act stealthily in the shadows. The Night Below is a seemingly infinite series of tunnels and caverns that twist in all directions, inside and out, and sometimes over and around each other. The darkness here is nearly impermeable. No matter the magical source, no light can illuminate further than 5 feet.
That's crazy. You know what's even crazier is that Andre 3000 is on the Night Below album as a feature.
Oh, that's an actual album.
The Love Below is by the Outcast.
Oh, okay.
Andre 3000.
Nice reference, bro.
Thank you.
Any questions about Gehenna?
Oh man. Okay, my question is about Gehenna. What do the layers look like in terms of moving between them?
It's going to be portal stuff.
Okay.
Probably, or stuff. You can sail down the river Styx. It'll always take you to the next level.
Like if we plotted, okay, that's cool. I like that. So if we plotted a layer of Gehenna Gehenna on a 2-dimensional, like, Super Mario style, you would just 2D scroll all the way to the right, and then there would be a portal at the end, and you would go through, or a pipe, and you would go down it or go through the portal.
For some reason it was a 2D platformer, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, if for some reason it was.
But otherwise, there would just be portals either established and created or naturally occurring between the layers.
It would actually be really interesting to do Dungeons & Dragons in like a 2D sort of environment.
Yeah, that would be very, very
kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
There's a reason they don't make a lot of platformers, though. They don't last forever in terms of like... I don't know. Well, like a Castlevania style 2D.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to play a D&D, a Metroidvania game. That'd be amazing.
That would be kind of fun. Okay, because I know that like going to the elemental plane of air is like you fly up into the sky and then you just like keep on going and eventually you're in the elemental plane of air for some reason. Like you just kind of slip over without really knowing it. It's not.
Well,
like a
no, not
thing.
Really. No.
Yeah, we've talked about like going into like you're in the ocean and like you're on a boat and then all of a
yeah,
sudden
you can slip through a portal. Yes.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
But it's not. It's not always like obvious. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's
going
not
through a
like I
painting in
need to
Super
go.
Mario.
Yeah. It's not like I need to go to the elemental air, so you just keep flying in the sky. It's like no, you would need to go find a portal. Like,
Okay.
maybe you would know of one, but yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's interesting. I mean, there's play there, right? Like you can kind of make it so it's like, well, hey, how come the fuck we're just like never hitting land, or like why are we starting to see, or like I walked into for some reason I walked into this volcano and I kept going down this tunnel and it kept just being hotter and hotter and now I'm seeing salamanders and stuff like that.
Right. Yes,
Okay.
that could also work as well.
Okay, that was like, okay, how are we moving between them? I love the river Styx as your option here. Like, what is a portal? How do you implement this in a game? You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of like dowsing rod a portal or something like that.
Okay, so like you would need your players to even want to go to Gehenna if you were doing it that way.
Well, maybe you start them at the bottom and they need to work their way out.
Oh, like they get transported to Gehenna?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they're trying to escape back home?
Yeah, so they would need to move through the layers.
Yeah, their best bet would be try and move up through the layers and then try and find a layer that goes from... I think Khalas is the top layer, and you probably want to go from there to one of the elemental planes, and then from one of the elemental planes to the
back
prime
to the
material plane.
Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
Because it's all about looking for the thing most like the last thing.
Aside from the river Styx, I was having some trouble kind of visualizing how to move between them, but I feel like it kind of
got I mean, it's pretty much the same as all the outer planes. You know?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I had some issues with that too, like getting in and out of those.
It's supposed to be extremely difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like things happen and extraordinary things are going to happen to your adventures, which is going to make your interesting story.
Yep.
So other than that, I think it's pretty, I mean, it's cool. Like, can you get to, I mean, you can make it so you can get to whatever plane from whatever plane, right? But like the flow of them is like how you were saying, like,
that's the path of least resistance for sure. Otherwise you would need like some heavy, high level, multi-spellcaster ritualistic shit.
Yeah, so we can get to the Abyss and the Nine Hells from Gehenna, because of the river Styx.
Yes, because of that, and also because it's easier to make a portal between those places than from the prime material plane to those places.
Yeah, because they're adjacent somehow.
Yeah, they're quote unquote closer together, and they're also more alike each other.
Yeah, okay. Oh, like so the terms of alignment help with, because a lot of these planes are based in alignment, right? Like this would be a neutral alignment plane.
Neutral evil.
Right. And Abyss is chaotic evil, Nine Hells lawful evil. So if you're on the evil planar side, it's easier to go to other evil planes.
Yes. Lower planes, it's easier to get to lower planes. Higher planes, it's easier to get to higher planes. For sure.
I think we might take for granted like some of the stuff we've covered in older episodes because it's been a while. Like
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So that was it's a good refresher. It's been a long time since we've done Atlas Exterus. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready to take a long rest?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
Just outside the studio, ranking members of the Cult of Demon. Oh, hello, little closet friend. Breaking news, you say? Well, of course I'll read. Hand me that envelope. Grimly and Grumly arrested? Unbelievable! Demogorgon will not be happy when they find out about this. Also, how is this breaking news? This was literal weeks ago. I'm reading the document right now. Literal weeks ago. Lost? That's what you're going with? You got lost. Okay. Impudence. Sheer, utter impudence. Eldritch Blast. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like the fan club and myself have some work to do. Tune in next time for a proper scry. And as always, shout out to Demogorgon.
Shout out to Demogorgon. Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Long Rest. This is the part of the episode where it's Slippy's time. And you're going to want some breathable ones. Maybe some Crocs. Those are kind of like Slippies.
Possibly.
Because it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot in our studio, and it's hot in Gehenna. I know we talked a lot about Patreon after our short rest, but we're going to talk some more about Patreon.
Yeah, because we got some shout-outs. We got to shout out the people out here supporting us.
That's right. So that's one of the things you get. Any patron that comes in, no matter what dollar amount you support us at, gets a shout-out. And we want to do them right, baby. We want to do them good. So shout out to Graz.
Thank you, Grazed.
Yeah, thank you, Will, for Grazed. Grazed, thank you. Ryan Elliott.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Jonathan Granke.
Thank you, Jonathan. Like your last name, Jonathan.
Yeah, is it Granke? Greinke.
Yep, just like Zach Granke, one of my favorite pitchers.
All right, there we go. Thank you, blood relative of Granke, pitcher, one of Will's favorite pitchers. Peyton Denisar.
Thank you, Peyton.
Thank you, Peyton.
Thank you, Peyton.
Avery Van Sulkema.
Thank you, Avery. I think you might have sent us an email lately, Avery, and I replied.
Ooh, very nice, Will. Oh, wait. Thank you, Avery Van Sulkema.
Thank you, Avery.
Thank you, Avery. Daniel Pauliolo.
Thank you, Daniel.
Pauliolo.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. If you're up in the higher tiers when you upgrade, I give you air horns. I don't know if you guys have figured that out by now. Oh no, it's the German name that I had to Squirrel Druid. I just forgot how to pronounce. Oh man, I had to look it up last time with Martika's help.
Okay, they've re-upped or what?
Yeah, they re-upped.
Okay. Are you going to look it up?
Thank you, Squirrel Druid.
Thank you, Squirrel Druid.
Squirrel in German, Druid. Lay the sleigh, Ben LeMay. Thank you, Ben LeMay.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Jordan Bolte.
Thank you, Jordan.
It's Bolt with an E at the end. Should I just say Bolt?
You know, I don't know.
Bolte.
Bolte.
And also, check this out. David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Enjoy your merch. Enjoy that shit. And all you guys' actual play while it's still there. It'll be there for a couple more months, and then we're going to start filtering
there's more
stuff.
on the way.
Yeah. Check out Super Quest Saga, a Dungeons & Dragons actual play campaign that Will and I do. Will DMs, and I'm a player along with your special guest, Jake, and friend of the show, Josh Freeland. It is coming to its culmination point.
It is. We're in like the final 3 or 4 episodes now.
Yes. And you can check that shit out for free.
Yeah. A podcast or YouTube form.
A project that was only possible with contributions that we took from Patreon to convert into the equipment we needed to do that show. So yeah, thank you guys and to pay the people that help make it.
Yeah, we have employees. We got to take care of them too.
Right. So thank you guys so much. It turns out podcasting is hard as fuck when you're doing it like
by yourself and you only have so many skills.
Yeah. So we contract people in to help us out with things. Like we don't draw. All the art you see is paid and funded for by you guys. So thank you so much. And we love commissioning art. We love artists and the things that you guys do. We take care of like the editing, recording, and stuff on our own, and like Will writes all the notes for the show and plotting out content, and then we do all of our own post-production work and music and things like that. But a lot of the stuff that we have here in the studio is possible because of people like you on Patreon. So thank you guys so much. It's really, really important for the growth of the show to have that income to use to make a better product, and that's what we're about. We want to do more. We want to do more stuff, and we max out our time to make that happen. If you want to support us in other ways, leave an Apple Podcast review or Spotify review, or a like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. That stuff is all very excellent. It helps our algorithm, helps us get noticed, which helps spread the word, which is our next point, is to Blood Eagle the fuck out of this thing. Tell everyone about it. make it bleed from up the middle, and turn it into 2 when before 'twas 1.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
What is that?
I mean, do what he's saying, guys, but I hate it.
Yeah, not in like a violent way, just metaphorical. Also, we have a merch shop. If you want some like Dungeoncast art on some merch, like a shirt or a hat or a cup or a tote bag, I think we got.
Yeah, we got tote bags. We got mason jar stuff.
We got totes. We got jars, baby. Do we have pens? I don't think we do.
No, I don't think that was an option.
Do we have pins?
Yes, we do. We do have pins.
Pawns?
I don't know what those are.
Scrimly and Gromly.
Oh, okay.
And we also have social media like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you can also reach out to us via email, thedungeoncast@gmail.com. We also have a P.O. box if you would like to reach out to us via mail or send us some stuff. I mean, the shirts that we got on today from RPG Foundry were sent to our P.O. box, and you can find that address in the description below. If you send us like mail or a postcard or something like that, we will read it on the show. Sometimes it's hard to get over there for me, but I pretty much check it before each recording session. And yeah, we're good. We're good right now. We've been getting some stuff there, so thank you guys very much. And like I said, if you send us a letter or a postcard, we will read it on the show, probably in the longest portion. And I think that's everything we got. So with that, we're gonna call it a game.
Indeed.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.